Absolutely will be increased childcare subsidies in the budget as the Prime Minister seeks to assuage concerns about his treatment of women, his government's treatment of women. But I'm told it's not on the scale of the promise by Labor's Anthony Albanese in the budget reply speech. That was a commitment worth $6 billion. The government's view on this is that if you load it up too much, you end up spending taxpayer money on a lot of people who are pretty well off. The Labor argument is it is also a productivity measure. Here, Amanda Rishworth, Labor's childcare spokeswoman, talks about the fact Labor's plan is even more generous than the Business Council proposal that made the papers this morning.
The first important point is the cap on the childcare subsidy is removed. That's an important step. Labor is lifting the lowest end of the taper rate to 90%. The Business Council of Australia is suggesting 95%. And then both policies are really suggesting a smoother taper rate. The Business Council of Australia finishes at around $430,000, around that mark. Labor's finishes around $530,000 combined income. So they're quite similar. The objects of the two proposals are the same. That is to remove some of the barriers that exist for women to work the fourth or fifth day.
So right now the subsidy ends at a family earning $353,000. We can expect an increased subsidy in the budget, but there are plenty of rates they can play with there. It's between 50 and 85%, various groups under that, for example. It's not what the Business Council are promising and what Labor are promising, I know that. So the big discussion's still happening in Expenditure Review Committee this week. I've already said an aged care levy is not expected, although it was the subject of some discussion. I've speculated the stage 3 tax cuts will be brought forward, and I'm also expecting some more on infrastructure spending, Tom.
Stage 3 will be really interesting because it's expensive and it goes up to the high end, so you can bet Labor would be, I reckon they're hoping that does happen, we will see. Just finally, I'm sitting in the chair for Kieran Gilbert, of course, at the moment. He's a humble man. I know, he was a bit worried when he got nicknamed Blue Steel recently. He'd be aghast at the front of the Hobart Mercury today, Andrew Clennell, I'm sure.
Yeah, just to get you in the mood for this Tasmania election forum, Tom, I just wanted to bring up this front page. It came up early in our Sky Presenters WhatsApp group this morning, very early, about 6 a.m. There is some Blue Steel. Look at that. Good-looking man, isn't he? No, Kieran Gilbert is not running for office, although a senior federal Liberal source did suggest to me this morning that he'd be a very good candidate for the seat of Lyons. Obviously, that Hobart Mercury front page is about our forum. How Kieran will help decide who becomes the next leader of Tasmania, Tom.